welcome. My name is Sinead Farry. I am one of the programme and student leads based here at the University of Law, ULaw Online, and I'm responsible for our postgraduate vocational programmes, that is to say, the solicitors qualifying examination programs, that is to say our prep courses, and so to our master's courses as well. And what I've been invited to share with you today is to talk about what you can expect as an online student if you elect to study one of our postgrad courses in the disciplines that you can see below here at the University of Law. So what will follow will be a presentation in terms of how the courses are delivered, what you can expect, and key messaging around support that is offered to our students. And what I'd like to do is extend some time at the end of this session to cover off any particular questions or queries that you have. All questions are welcome, folks. So in terms of how this session is going to be structured, then what can you expect? Well, the first thing is to think about why you might want to choose us as a place for your studies. The next thing that we'll look at is what studying online actually looks like. So what you can expect in terms of our learning model, our materials, our overall delivery and assessment. And we'll give you some more information in terms of our learning styles and the study method, the way within which we support our students, and any appropriate next steps. If I could have the next slide, please. Thank you. So why would you elect to study with the University of Law? Well, you may be interested to learn that we are reaching a seminal moment in the history of the organisation. We are one of the largest and one of the most established providers of legal and vocational education more latterly in the other disciplines that exist here in the United Kingdom. And that rests on a number of different tenets that you can see on the slide in front of you as to why we have the reputation that we currently have. Firstly, you can expect to be taught by experts. So all of our postgraduate lecturers are qualified lawyers, professionals, or practice-focused academics. And that's really important because what that feeds into is not only an extensive bank of subject knowledge and professional practice and exposure to industry, but so too it also informs our teaching as well to make sure that it's authentic, it reflects real life, and it's so too it prepares you for the world of work as well. Secondly, we've trained more practicing lawyers than anyone else in the UK, and linked to that, we have over 100,000 alumni. So if you go into our landing pages on the ULaw SQE website, you will be surprised to learn that people have undertaken our postgraduate vocational courses, and some of whom will be very, very familiar to you already, both in number and in terms of their reputation and professional standing as well. We have an excellent careers service. So our specialist careers and employability service is now one of the most largest and most established in the United Kingdom. So you can benefit from employability advice, you can benefit from employability events, you can also benefit from a wealth of knowledge and resource in connection with employability if you need help with your CV building in terms of your professional development, and so too in connection with the development of those soft skills that you may need for assessment centres and training contract interviews and such like. Our law degrees are practical in focus, and I make no apologies for pausing here to indicate that the way within which the expertise that we have that informs our teaching in terms of the individuals that join us from industry result in a law degree which very much recognises and reflects those well-rounded lawyer skills, and so too the need for you to be immersed in the types of tasks that you can expect to be exposed to if you go into practice as a junior lawyer as well. And that's really important because it also gives you the confidence to approach those interviews, and so too to approach those types of tasks in the workplace later on in your career with confidence. And also as part of your ongoing professional development, you'll also benefit from other things such as our pro bono offer, for example, which we run online. We also run it in our campuses as well. And you will be exposed, if you wish, to qualifying work experience. If you would like to choose one of our courses, be it the master's course, you will have the opportunity, should you wish, to immerse yourself in really specialist and bespoke legal projects and initiatives which are intended to further develop those skills which you are learning in the classroom. And the proof is in the numbers as well. So you can see the statistics there that 93% of our postgraduate law students are in work or highly skilled employment. You can see the figures there following their graduation as well. Okay, so if I can just turn to the next slide, please. So where are we based? Well, we are based there, as you can see, at the campuses that you can see listed on the slide in front of you. So if you would like for in-person study, you can see that our attended campuses are delineated on the slide in front of you. And so too, if you would like to study online, we also have a campus which is essentially a mode of study known as ULaw Online, which you can also join if you find that that's the appropriate mode of study for you to consider. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so now we're going to talk to you in a little bit more detail about what you can expect in terms of online study. So how are you going to learn? Well, in terms of the experience that our students have and benefit from here at ULaw Online, you will be given dedicated online tutors. So you will have ongoing tutor support for all of your units within the modules that you will study. Our materials and resources are designed with the PEC model in mind, prepare, engage and consolidate model. And what that means is that you will essentially study asynchronously, that means outside of your sessions, initially in the prepare and engage stages, which will set the scene and support you in terms of the development of your understanding in connection with that particular unit before you go into your live subject support study sessions. Now, in terms of the resources that we have prepared for you, again, just to emphasize that point in terms of the industry focus, you will find that they are authentic, they are realistic, and they reflect that which you can be exposed to if you are a junior lawyer or professional in practice, and really helps you to develop and embed those skills that you need in order to be confident in the application of those skills, not only in connection with your studies, but also in connection with your career. You will benefit from subject support sessions. What that means is that we intend and we design our live subject support sessions specifically with interactivity in mind. The way within which we deliver our courses online is informed by the research that we have undertaken in relation to online pedagogy. We've learned quite a lot, haven't we, since we studied and since we delivered our courses through the course of the pandemic. And like many other institutions, we have taken the initiative to step back and conduct detailed research in terms of how we can best support our students and best support you in achieving your potential. So with that in mind, you can expect that they will be interactive. There is a range of different media for you to access. And so too, there are opportunities to engage with your tutor, both within the live subject support sessions, but also beyond those support sessions, where you can interact with our live discussion boards, you can engage in additional activities or meetings with your subject tutor, and you can engage with them via email or Teams, whichever you see fit. You'll also benefit from module and bespoke unit guides, and you'll also benefit from materials that will support your understanding before you even begin to learn in connection with those particular units and modules. So you'll benefit from a really detailed and specific and tailored induction in respect of your courses. And so too, you'll also have the benefit of our academic coaching system as well. So alongside the course support that you will have your module tutor, you'll also benefit from an academic coach, who I'll speak to in a little bit more detail, who'll be able to assist you with any academic support needs that you have. And so too, you'll have a student journey advisor who will support you in connection with any non-academic queries or concerns or support needs that you may have. And that's really important because you need to feel that you are supported. And so to you benefit from that bespoke relationship that you will have with those academics along your educational journey. I just want to pause here as well. I've seen a few questions which I will pick up at the end of this presentation in connection with our ULaw SQE revision app. So if you would like to study one of our prep courses or the LLM SQE 1 and 2 legal practice course, you will benefit from our bespoke ULaw SQE revision app. And this is critically important in terms of your ability to approach the SRA SQE 1 external assessment with confidence. The ULaw SQE revision app contains thousands of single best answer questions which are intended to reflect those and which align specifically with the SRA SQE 1 external assessment specification. We also use it to enable us to form appropriate predictions and indications in terms of how we can best support you in terms of your readiness to approach both our ULaw SQE internal and the SRA SQE1 external assessments with confidence, so that you can bespoke and that you can tailor your learning appropriately to ensure that your assessment preparation addresses those developmental points and needs that you need to address in order to succeed in your SQE1 assessments. Next slide, please. Okay, so a little bit more then about the learning style and study methods. So as I indicated to you, the way within which our courses run is that they are intended to be asynchronous. So in terms of the expectation, in terms of the materials and the access to the SQE revision app and everything else that is associated with the delivery of the course, that is exactly the same as that which you can expect if you were attending as an in-person student. In terms of how you would learn, a lot of that tends to be undertaken asynchronously. That means to say that you have to do that within your own time. And fortunately, and to reassure you in this respect, the tasks which we have prepared for you enable you to work through the relevant prepare and engage and consolidate units and activities that we have to fully support your learning. So you will likely find that when you're going through those tasks, you will have the benefit of automatic and generated feedback, and so to appropriate direction in terms of learning points and developmental areas that you need to focus on as you progress through your studies by way of mock assessments, and so to in terms of intervention correspondence regarding your ability to engage with the SQE revision app, and so to your readiness in terms of the data that we hold for you in connection with the SQE1 assessments. Next slide, please. So here you can see what a sample unit would look like for you. So we use a platform called Elite. Some of you may refer to this as Collaborate. You may have engaged with similar platforms, perhaps if you've studied at undergraduate level. So what you will find is that your course pages will be associated in accordance with each module you'll be studying, and they will be set out in respect of their respective units, such as you can see here. So you can see that your units are delineated into 3 distinct folders to reflect that of our learning model, Prepare, Engage, Consolidate. So you'll start with the introduction and outcomes, which will give you a clear indication as to the expectations in terms of learning and assessment for that particular unit, accompanied by a unit guide as well. So each module and unit page will be set out in a similar format to ensure consistency, and so to ensure that you can be as supported as you can be as you begin to work asynchronously through those respective units in preparation for the interactive elements, i.e. the live subject support sessions, when you will have those opportunity to learn in live and real time with your module tutor. Next slide, please, Gareth. Okay, so we've said a little bit about what you can expect. This is really an overview in terms of what you can expect those course pages to look like. So you can see, as I've said before, that there will be a mixture of different types of tasks. There'll be longer form tasks, shorter form tasks. In terms of SQE1, there will also be single best answer questions intended to reflect those which you can expect to see in the SRA SQE1 external assessments, but so too in connection with our question banks in the revision app. So too, you can see opportunities to test your knowledge and your understanding, which will generate feedback. There will also be points to note as well, which will be made available to you once you have submitted those particular tasks to enable you and to encourage you to identify any further areas of development, and so too to recognise where you are clear and strong and confident in connection with meeting some of those unit outcomes and the assessment specification accordingly. Next slide, please, Gareth. So what kind of support can you offer? Well, I say as somebody who has been at ULaw coming up to 2 years now, that the support that is offered to students extends far beyond that is your module tutor. So in terms of the support that you are offered, you obviously have support from your program and student lead, who will induct you onto the program and is also a point of contact for you if you have any academic or non-academic queries or wider queries or questions about the course. So too, you'll be supported by your academic coaches. Your academic coaches will be your assigned point of contact and will have an overview in connection with your student journey. And they will be the individual with whom you will speak to on perhaps the most regular basis outside of those conversations that you'll have with your module tutors. They will regularly engage with you and reach out to you to look at your engagement, so to your ability to engage with the SQE revision app if you're doing SQE 1 with us, for example, and they will consciously reach out to you and continue to monitor the analytics that we have on you to offer any support or guidance that is needed. So your academic coaches, I would suggest, are a really integral part of your journey here and are critical to your success overall. You'll also be supported by live subject support sessions. So these will be attached to each unit that you will study in your respective modules. And this is an opportunity to engage in a highly interactive and very focused session where you will perhaps talk through a particular task, which will be assigned to you ahead of time to talk about within that particular session. So too, it will be an opportunity for the teaching team as well to distill any particular key points in terms of the learning or the feedback that they have in connection with any tasks that have been submitted ahead of that particular session. So that's really your opportunity to engage with that learning as part of our prepare, engage and consolidate model, and so too to ask any questions of your module tutor and to benefit from that live interactivity both with your tutor and also with your peers. We also offer financial advice and support as well. So if you go into the landing page, you will see that there is detailed information in relation to scholarship opportunities, and so too in connection with any financial information that may be relevant to you if you are considering one of our courses. Students also benefit from a bespoke finance clinic as well, where they can arrange an appointment at a time that suits them to speak with an individual from our dedicated financial team if they need any particular support or assistance. In addition to your academic coach, you'll also be assigned a student journey advisor, and they form part of the student journey advisor team. And again, their role is integral in terms of supporting you to succeed in connection with your courses. Your student journey advisor will be the person to whom you can speak to if you have any non-academic queries. So perhaps if you have an issue in connection with your studies, or perhaps it's something that we require additional support on and it falls outside of that academic area that you would normally cover within the academic coaching model. Again, you will work closely with your student journey advisor, who will be one of the first points of contact to whom you'll be introduced to when you are inducted with us. We also have an incredibly active and supportive Students' Union as well. So you will benefit from regular correspondence and details of events that are ongoing in the Students' Union on a regular basis. So you'll have an opportunity to engage and meet with like-minded people, and so to develop friendships with your peers if you would like to study online with us as well. And similarly, we also have a specialist disability support and inclusion team as well. So if it is the case that you require advice or support around any reasonable adjustments, or you have any particular questions in relation to how we can support you with your learning, we have a dedicated team of advisors who can assist you from day one in connection with any support that is appropriate for us to offer at that particular stage, and if you feel it would be of benefit. Similarly, we also have a dedicated wellbeing offer here at the university. All students benefit from the Wellbeing Support Spectrum Life offer, which is available online 24/7. You also have IT support as well. So whenever you have any questions or queries, I would hope it wouldn't arise, but if you need them, you can contact the IT team directly, and they are available again in order to support students in connection with any connectivity or internet issues or tech issues that they may experience with us. We also have an online study skills and library offer as well. So in terms of study skills, there are a number of different facets to this, which I won't talk to in significant detail, but be it as it may, you do have the opportunity as an online student, if you wish, to engage with our online study skills team. They offer individual appointments, they offer group appointments in connection with those areas that you may require assistance with. And we also benefit as well from a really detailed and bespoke catalogue of micro-credentials as well, which are intended to assist you specifically in connection with certain courses courses. So I'll give you an example. In terms of SQE, we have specific micro-credentials that deal with how to develop your confidence and understanding in connection with answering SBAQs, for example. So too, we have micro-credentials which help you in terms of public speaking, in terms of the softer skills, and so too in connection with any skills that perhaps you may require a refresher from, for example, such as active reading strategies or effective reading strategies. In terms of the library is available online, but as an online student also, you can, in certain campuses, access our in-person library facilities if you feel that that would be appropriate for you also. And finally, I've said a few words about our employability service and our pro bono offer as well. So again, as an online student, that is available to you, and we do continue to offer support as well to our alumni. Next slide, please, Gareth. Okay, so in terms of online events, you can see some examples there in terms of the events that are available within the online campus. And I think what speaks very strongly here is the emphasis on building an online community for our students and in terms of creating that sense of belonging. And certainly in my time here at ULaw, that is something that has become very, very familiar and very obvious to me as an educational practitioner. And I think that's hugely important because if you feel that you belong to the online mode of study, and if you're able to engage with your peers and your colleagues and like-minded people in connection with some of these activities, that is going to help you feel also supported and part of a real community of students as you continue with your educational journey here as well. So in terms of examples that you can see there, we have professional development opportunities in connection with those professional development skills that you need to perhaps build confidence in, or perhaps you need to acquire, or you need more information in connection with. We also benefit from legal tech talks because obviously as part of the university strategy in terms of innovation and also the advancements of AI as we see it in the legal profession, it's really important that we give you guys the opportunity to equip you with an understanding as to how that operates in the industry. And so too, we have other opportunities such as our photo competitions as well, which are a really excellent opportunity to engage with other people, but also have a little bit of fun as well. Next slide, please. So in terms of social life online, you can see there that we have our Students' Union, we have a range of club and societies, we have our common room. We also, as you can see from the previous slide, have extracurricular activities and also virtual events as well. I'd also like to add to that as well, because in terms of your learning, what you will likely find as well is that there will be opportunities in some of your modules perhaps to engage in discussion boards, and that's really important for your learning. So I'll give you an example. Perhaps you've been in a live subject support session and perhaps you had a question that you didn't feel confident in asking, or perhaps you didn't know what the question was that you needed to ask until the session had concluded. So in terms of your social life and building up that sense of community online, students in some modules and units will also benefit from discussion boards which are monitored by specialist experts. So if you don't feel confident asking a question in a live subject support session but would wish to ask the question, we very much encourage you to do that. Because what I often say to my students is, if you have a question, it's very likely the case that your peers will have a similar question as well. So by publishing that on the discussion board, it enables one of our subject experts to pick that up and provide the answer to that question that perhaps you needed. And so too, you can put your name to it. You can also add it anonymously as well if you wish. But again, that's another way within which here at the online campus, we have informed our online pedagogy through our research to understand what it is that helps to bring people together and create that sense of belonging. Next slide, please, Gareth. Okay, so now we're going to hear from one of our fabulous student ambassadors. So I'm going to turn my camera off, turn my mic off, and I'm going to pick up some questions in the chat. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name's Koa, so I'm a current student here. I'm studying MA Law SQE1 online. So I'll just tell you a little bit about the differences. I'm in my last year now, so I'm doing it part-time, so it's just over 2 years that I'm studying. So the main difference I would say would be the flexibility that you get. So when I first started, I'm working as well, so it was imperative for me to be able to balance my studies with working, but then also outside life. You have family life, you've got your personal life, and it's really important that you can find a place that you can balance that. With studying online, you can access all of the amazing platforms that we've been looking at today anytime. So it's 24/7. You also have a week by week for your content. So we just saw a similar bit on your elite program of what you cover in one unit. If you know that you're going to be busy in the next couple of weeks or you've got a busy week at work coming up, I like to look ahead. So you don't have to wait for the week to be over. You can go through it by yourself. So you don't have to worry for your classmates or if you're a lecturer to cover it. You can start doing the reading as soon as you want. Is as well, I also find myself though I'm often behind, which is so normal and it's okay to be behind when you're a law student, but it's also good because you can get consolidation weeks. So what these basically are, it just breaks up your term. So you have a week just to catch up any reading, ask any questions, and also catch up with your peers. In my current class, we have a WhatsApp group chat, and that one's great because you can actually have a chance to talk to your peers about what's going on, any questions that you're struggling on. There's an opportunity to chat to your lecturers at any point. We have Lecture Connect as well. So it's similar to a notice board, but it's just you and the lecturer. So if you are a bit worried about asking a question and you're not too sure if it's the right answer, don't worry about it. You can always ask your lecturer one to one. So the benefits are flexibility, accessibility, and support. So like we've covered, you can get absolutely any support you need using the online platform. There is a lot on there, so it's often a good chance just to go through it when you first start, familiarize yourself with what your programs are, where you can find the right help, and you can also get onto booking your working support as well. So another area that I don't think we covered is all about your studying programs. So if you find that you don't know what Oscoda is, for example, which is a big referencing tool that we use in writing assignments and everything for law, you can go join programs for free just to catch up on how do you reference, what's my bibliography going to look like, where can I find the right sources, where can I find the right platforms to do my research. And you can also look at writing essays. If it's been a while that you haven't been in education, it's good to kind of familiarize yourself and get your skills up to date by joining one of their programs as well. So it's just a webinar and you can record it as well. So you have the access to the slides once you join and always refer back to it. So it's really, really great. Another huge benefit of it is the commute. You don't have to worry about getting up super early to commute to your lecturer. You can do it from the comfort of your own home or from a library or absolutely anywhere. Another big point for me with this course is you can have time to spend time with family and friends. For example, I had a wedding abroad last year and I was a bit worried, like, how am I going to balance that with studying? But my campus is online. So I just took my laptop with me and I just made sure I carved out some time and I could still enjoy my family wedding as well. So there's loads of different benefits you get. One of the big ones is we've currently mentioned is about the careers. You get career advice at any time that you need. So it is really, really useful. I've used it plenty of time and will continue to use it because you can go through your CV, you can go through cover letters. I've used them when I've had current job opportunities. I'm also doing the Small Business Advice Line Clinic, which is a pro bono clinic, and that is incredible because they have a qualified solicitor that joins, and then as students we kind of observe, or you have an opportunity to also draft the minutes of the meeting or triage the client as well. So you can have ample opportunities to brush up on your skills and also try new skills. So I was drafting the other week and I never drafted a meeting before, and I was able to do that with a qualified solicitor plus someone from the university that was able to oversee what I was doing. So I wasn't alone and I wasn't doing anything that I shouldn't be. But it's great. So there is loads of things out there, but it is up to you to use your time efficiently and productively and to make sure that you know what resources are there. So I would say that when you first start, just make sure you carve out some time just so you can get familiar to the platform, see what who your lecturers are, who your lecturers are, your program leaders, your study support sessions, everything there. So you know when you need it, you know exactly where to go and you're not wasting any time. I would say that if you are interested in doing the online course, you need to be organized and to make sure that you have good timekeeping skills. it's important to know that if you do have a busy week at work or you have family commitments and things, that you know that's coming up and you'll carve out allocated time so you can catch up so you're not chasing your tail all the time. But if you do find that you are behind, there is opportunities that you can catch up as well. So not to worry at all, life happens. But the online platform is great because it is flexible and you can access at any point and you're not restricted to attending certain lectures at certain times. We do have our live support sessions each week, but if you can't attend that, it is recorded. And like I said, you have all of your modules for the entire term on one platform, so you can easily catch up and like look forward to other weeks as well. I think that's about everything, I think.
That's a really fabulous overview, and I really like the way that you pulled through the messaging in terms of flexibility, and so too your interactivity with the pro bono activities as well. And hopefully that speaks to perhaps some of the questions that I've seen in the chat in terms of student belonging and the sense of community, which we really strive to create here at the University of Law online offering. Can we have the next slide, please, Gareth? Okay, so I've spoken about our services, and to a considerable degree, I have perhaps addressed most of these in significant detail as it currently stands. Just a couple of extra things that I think might be helpful to you if you are considering making an application to us. The first one is to identify our accommodation service, which can help you with any accommodation issues that you have or any assistance that you need if you are considering attending one of our in-person campuses. And we also have a dedicated money and housing advice service as well. So I did refer to those student finance clinics. And so too, I made reference as well to our dedicated advisors. I've seen a couple of questions in the chat as well in terms of funding. And you can see there that we have right on the right-hand side of that slide, you can see that we have a bespoke service in terms of student support funding and Black Bullion financial support available to students. So I would encourage you, there is detailed information on the website. I would encourage you to look through that. There is comprehensive and quite detailed and helpful information in connection with any questions that you may have in connection with how you may wish to fund your studies with us. That was hopefully helpful to all of you in the room, but be it as it may, if you do have any questions or specific queries in connection with that point, I can direct you to the appropriate team who can provide you with the tailored advice that you would need in connection with this. All of these services are free and confidential and available to all students. There is considerable availability in connection with the dates and times available to our students, as we recognise, particularly for the online offering, we recognise that we have a very diverse and international student body of students that require dates and times which don't necessarily always accord with the UK working day. So rest assured that you will have the option of obtaining that support outside of those times if you are in an alternative time zone. Separately, those appointments are available by telephone, Microsoft Teams, Collaborate, and if you wish, face-to-face. And you will have an opportunity, if you wish, and if you are intending on making an application to us, to be introduced to all of those teams, so you can be left in no doubt as to how you can contact them. You're also supported by a dedicated ULaw student app, which sets out the details for contact in connection with those teams, and also can direct you to those teams as well through the Ask Us function that we have, which essentially is an opportunity for you to ask any queries that you have with us, and they will be triaged appropriately to the appropriate person. Next slide, please, Gareth. Every campus has a student wellbeing advisor, and the student wellbeing advisor plays a really important role in providing information, signposting and advice to students on a variety of different wellbeing issues, ranging from mental health, anxiety to your academic wellbeing. On referral, you will be triaged and you'll be directed to one of our specialist services. It may be that you are entitled both to university assistance and so to external assistance that we have through our Spectrum Life offering. And the Wellbeing Advice team works directly with students, offering both drop-in times and bookable appointments via phone, Microsoft Teams, or in person. And again, just to emphasize the point in terms of those students that are perhaps joining us from a different time zone, there is flexibility in terms of those times that are available to students, as I referred to in the previous slide, so as to enable us to offer that support on a timely and a consistent basis to everybody. Next slide, please, Gareth. We also, as I indicated previously, have our student assistance program, which is provided by our partner Spectrum Life. It's a free, confidential counselling service that provides you with emotional and practical support for any concerns that you may have. It's available 24/7, 365 days a year to offer support as and when you feel that you need it. It can be accessed through the free phone telephone number there, through the WhatsApp channel that we have, and so too through the website. You simply sign up using your ULaw email address and click support, or you can request a call back, or you can correspond with one of our advisors through the live chat function. Next slide, please, Gareth. Again, I've referred to the role of our disability and inclusion advisors. Again, they are responsible for providing information, signposting and advice to students on a range of issues. This may be the case if you require some specific support with your learning, or perhaps you would like to explore any reasonable adjustments that you would benefit from in order to assist you with your learning, and so too with your assessment preparation. Again, they work directly with you, offering drop-in times and bookable appointments via phone, Microsoft Teams, or in person, depending on the medium that best suits you. Next slide, please, Gareth. Our study skills service I have referred to previously. You can benefit from individualised study skills support by making an appointment. They also do live stream webinars. There's also a range of resources, guides and micro-credentials that you can complete in order to support and develop your study skills and the development perhaps of any skills that you've not yet been exposed to, or that perhaps you have been exposed to in a previous course of study but would require a refresher in relation to. Next slide, please. So how do you apply? Well, we put the details on there, and what you will do is you will follow the link to our online courses where you will find the course details. So that will give you an indication as to the respective modules that you'll study. It will answer any questions that you have in connection with our learning materials, how you will be assessed, and also in connection with the fees element as well. There's also a program demands document as well, which is available on the website. So if you have any specific queries that correlate specifically to the type of tech that you need to have in order to support your online learning, or perhaps you have a question in connection with the minimum amount of hours that need to be devoted to your study, for example, and or how your course will look like in terms of how many live subject support sessions you can expect per week and what the length of those is going to be for your program. The program demands document incorporates all that information within there, but be it as it may, if you have any questions or queries, you can always contact us on that email address below. Be more than happy to address any concerns or queries that you have in connection with that. They'll also give you an overview in terms of the course structure. So with me and with my SQE head-on, I know that there's a couple of people in the chat that are looking at our SQE courses. If you go into the online course page for the SQE prep courses in our LLM in legal practice SQE 1 and 2, for example, you will find that there are a number of different intakes in connection with our courses that are aligned with the SRA SQE 1 and 2 external assessments. So what that means is that the courses will prepare you for the next sitting of those assessments, which again take place throughout the course of the year. So that may be helpful to you as well, particularly if you are balancing work and study in terms of when and how you would like to engage with those assessments. Next slide, please. So thank you for watching. Those are all our social media channels. Do feel free to reach out. If you have any questions or queries at all, I'm going to remain here along with our student ambassador to answer any points or observations that you may have arising out of the presentation. Please feel free to share.
Thank you very much, Sinead. Really appreciate it as well. It's been a really engaging session actually. We've had loads of questions, and I don't know if you've seen in the background. I know you've answered a few, Sinead, and Koa. I don't know if you've seen the engagement there's been. So I'll get through some of the questions now. We'll go through them one by one. I think you've touched upon some of them already, which is great. First of all, Sinead, talk to me about the advantages of doing an online degree to an on-campus degree. Loads of people always ask the same question. Does it have the same standing? There's that old age myth, isn't there, of, in certain countries in the past, if you do something online, doesn't have the same kind of authority that it would for an on-campus degree. But it's very much changed now, isn't it?
You're absolutely right, Gareth. And I think it's really important to address that point because that's why I emphasised during the presentation that the course offering and the equivalents in terms of our courses, both in person or online, are exactly the same. You will be assessed in exactly the same way to the same standard. And you will also, I sincerely hope you will graduate or you will complete with the same qualification that you would as if you were an in-person student as well. So we are a degree awarding body. We are recognised for that purpose. The other question that I also get, Gareth, quite a lot from students is about graduation. So if you are an online student, you will benefit from an in-person graduation. I mention that because that's an email that I receive on a regular basis as well. But I'm going to turn to the student ambassador as well, just to see if there's anything else that perhaps you would like to add from a student perspective, perhaps that might be helpful for our participants to be reminded of, perhaps, or perhaps can cover any concerns that they may have.
Yeah, I mean, it's all really, really good points. I think I was a bit worried as well because my undergrad was in person. I wasn't sure if it's going to have the same standing, but it absolutely does. I've met a few people that do the in-person course as well, and we're doing the exact same thing. So when we have a chance to discuss amongst your peers in class, you also get that same opportunity online. So the lecturer will actually, they're very sweet. They often like turn their mic off or their camera or step away and say, like, right, guys, you have privacy now. You discuss amongst yourselves. What do you think? The answer is, and it's a very, very welcoming atmosphere as well. So we're all doing the same course for the first time. We're all in the same boat. We've all come from different backgrounds. So, no question is a bad question. So it is exactly the same as it would be in person. And you also have the opportunity to go in person as well to the library. So I've done that sometimes. If I feel like working at home is a bit too much, I like to go into some campuses and just use the library in person just to, remember that I'm still a student. Just because I'm doing it on my laptop doesn't mean I'm not. So there is benefits for both.
Sinead, can I just touch upon what Koa mentioned there? She mentioned that obviously she'd done her undergrad degree on campus. There will be many students that will go, that's fine, it's for me, no problem. I can do it online or I can do it on campus with a different background. Is there the opportunity to go, right, I need to talk to you. I need to change. I'm doing it online. I want to go to on campus instead, or I'm doing it on campus and I want to move online. Is that opportunity there for students?
I think that's an excellent point, Gareth, and I think it points as well to the fact that it's a transition to online study. We recognise that we have designed and aligned our induction materials and our courses to reflect that for some people this will be quite different, perhaps, in terms of the learning that they've undertaken previously. So I think it's a really excellent point to cover, and the answer is quite simple. The answer is that we have a campus switch guarantee, which is indicated on our website. And you will work closely both with your academic coach and your student journey advisor because induction doesn't just stop with that first session and your introduction to the course. It actually takes place over the course of a number of weeks where we will check in with you, we'll check your engagement and check how you are settling in. And perhaps I would be perhaps a little bit inauthentic if I didn't refer to the fact that some students find that online study isn't for them. So that's where the conversation would take place with a student to identify whether they need to change to a different study mode, perhaps they need to go from full-time to part-time, or perhaps they need to go from online to in-person. So it is something that we offer, and it's something that we aim to support our students with. I think perhaps in terms of expectation management, what I would say is that those decisions, because we have designed the induction in a certain way, those decisions and those discussions would take place in the very early part of those studies because we recognise that it would be incredibly disruptive to students were we to campus switch them at a point in time where perhaps they are midway or quite significantly through the course that they've undertaken.
Excellent. Another question that's come through, and I think this is an excellent question. Do I need to do law as an undergrad degree? Currently at Birmingham, I don't know what university it is, so I'm presuming it's University of Birmingham, doing a finance degree, but keen to change and get involved within law. Now, that will be so relevant for so many students up and down the country, around the world as well, that will perhaps want to broaden their career and their education. But they will go, I haven't got a law bachelor's. What on earth do I do? Do I need to start again? What do they need to do, and what background would you expect them to have?
That again, that's a really excellent question, and I speak as a Birmingham alumni as well. So there's a lot of love for Birmingham in the room. So I'd very much like to help you, as I would with everybody, with that. What I would say in connection with this is that you may be familiar with the new solicitors qualifying regime. So it's changed in as much as you don't require an LLB now, you require a level 6 degree in any equivalent subject or equivalent qualification in order to embark on your postgrad vocational training. So with that in mind, I would refer you to the SQE section of the Solicitors Regulation Authority website, and I can share that link with you if you wish, if you find that would be helpful to you. A couple of things to bear in mind. The first thing is to think about academic law knowledge. Now, if you've done a finance degree, it may well be that you've touched on some particular legal aspects as part of that degree, but be it as it may, there may be some academic law subjects that you haven't studied, and that's really important. And it's also important as a law degree as well, because depending on when you graduated, it may be that you need to engage in a refresher in connection with your legal knowledge in order to ensure that you have the confidence to proceed with an SQE prep course or an SQE LLM, for example. The reason why I say that is quite pointed, and that's because academic law is not retaught on the SQE, but it underpins the professional legal practice that you will study and be assessed on as part of the SRA SQE specification. Now, in order to assist you with that, we do a couple of things. The first thing that we do, when you enroll with us, you'll do something called an academic legal knowledge quiz test. That's a diagnostic. What that will do is give you the confidence to recognise those areas where you need further revision or consolidation, or perhaps give you the benefit of understanding that you are relatively confident and secure in your understanding in those areas to approach your SQE studies with confidence. We also, in connection with that, provide you with a bespoke revision plan as well, which runs through the prepare stage of each unit in SQE 1 to support you in your development of your understanding. And you also benefit from an SQE revision app as well, which also enables you to immerse yourself in the understanding of your academic law, supported by guidance through the SQE manuals that we have and bite-sized academic law videos. So I wouldn't suggest that because you have a non-law degree that you couldn't embark with an SQE course with us, but what I would say is to utilise those resources really carefully to recognise your readiness and the existing knowledge and understanding that you have to see if you can effectively start that course with the confidence that you need, that you're secure in those subjects already.
Yeah, and around the kind of we're going to stick to the online thing for the moment, if that's okay. One of the flexibilities, I guess, is the start dates and the flexibility around when you do the program. I know we touched upon it already in the presentation, but can a student decide when they start? Obviously, if they were like, right, I want to apply right now, can they go, right, let's start tomorrow, let's make a move straight away? Or does it need to be that kind of rigid September, typical, stereotypical start date?
It's a really good question, Gareth, and the answer is that if you wanted to start a course with us, you probably don't have to wait too long to start a course with us because all of our intakes are delineated on the website. So, for example, I am the program lead for one of our January starts, our November starts. I'm also picking up a May start as well. So there are a number of different entry points throughout the course of the year when you can join our courses because we recognise that people will usually elect to study online because they have personal or professional or caring commitments which require them to not necessarily fit into that standard academic law model. So that's where the flexibility really comes in. So for details on that, you can find those on the ULaw page, and that's really an opportunity for you to really kind of engage, if you will, with the appropriate start point for you. And typically those tend to align to the SQE 1 and 2 sittings conducted by the SRA, so that you can be reassured that you'll reach the end of that course at a point in time when you can sit those assessments.
I know we've touched upon this, but there has been a question asked, so we'll run through it. Can I tailor my learning based upon which discipline I want to focus on in my career, country dependent? I think that's important, isn't it? Because
Yes.
depending on what you study, law is different in different countries and where you decide to then go to, and perhaps where your heritage is from. How do you evolve that and adapt it to what you want to learn?
That's a fantastic question, and that applies more specifically to our master's offering. So as part of our master's offering, you will study SQE Plus, which is the master's element essentially, and you will benefit from a catalogue of a range of different specialisms and pathways which you can engage with in order to support and develop your learning, but also which recognise that students inevitably will want to specialise in certain areas or disciplines. I will say, and I say this quite unashamedly, coming from other institutions, that it's one of the most comprehensive bespoke and industry informed offers that we have. So you will see that there is a range of different options in there, all of which are underpinned by those really important well-rounded lawyer skills, your exposure to legal tech, for example, and also to commercial awareness as well. So do take the opportunity to have a look at them. If you do a master's with us, you will be assessed against one of those three pathways within which you will have a range of different modules in order to further develop your specialism and focus. And typically that aligns with your interests, but also your professional development and where you are in your career at that time.
Okay, and a couple more questions before we do wrap up. I'm just conscious of time for everyone. Um, Job opportunities. Now, when you do the SQE, like you've touched upon already, you do get that guaranteed internship, don't you, for 2 weeks, is it, or 3 weeks?
4 weeks if they're on the masters.
That you touched upon. Is that the same in nearly all of your master's roles, that they are guaranteed an internship? Are they guaranteed that experience? And if they're not, what can a student do to get that experience?
My understanding is, and I'm speaking from a purely kind of SQE LLM perspective, is that students can benefit from 4 weeks qualifying work experience should they wish. You don't necessarily have to avail yourself of that because some of our students are already in work, of course, but you will have the opportunity to avail yourself of that qualifying work experience in our SQE LLM. So too, we have our pro bono offer, which Koa spoke really eloquently about in terms of the projects that are available to you. What I would suggest, Gareth, is that we do have an employability team. So if that experience or if that opportunity or exposure to practice does not necessarily fit with your study commitments, we will work with you individually to ensure that we can meet that support and that demand in a way that best suits you.
Super. And Koa, if I can finish with you, if that's okay. I think it's always great to hear firsthand from a student in terms of who's been in the shoes that the
Mhm.
students will follow. What has been the biggest surprise for you in terms of joining the university? Is it the education? Is it just how great they are in terms of partnership links, post graduation? What is it that really surprised it?
I think for me, I came from a non-law background and then I started with the online. So I think the opportunities that they have for the online campus really surprised me. I think you always hear like when you join these webinars, like how many resources they got, but actually like when you're actually doing it, the resources that they have at ULaw is amazing. So you've got things like employability hub, you've got the skills hub, you've got your libraries. So I think for me, that was the most surprising is that everything is at your fingertips. And also, as someone who came from a non-law background, it was quite nerve-wracking thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna meet up to the other law students. But actually, everyone on my course, I'm doing the MA Law SQE1, everyone's come from a non-law background. And the way that they teach you is for you to be a law student. So it's not like, oh, I haven't actually studied this before. They actually bring the studies to you so you actually match the same level, which is incredible. So you end up redoing, you do your assignments, you do your assessments, and that is your qualifying legal degree, is what you will need to practice. And that will go on to SQE1, which some of the modules in SQE1 will cover, not everything. But you do cover a lot from, the SBAQs, learning how to answer these questions. You do that from the first week you're here. So they really do equip you to be a lawyer, to be a solicitor, and you've been doing it from when you first started. So that was quite surprising when I was doing like mock exams for SQEs. I was like, oh, actually, I've done this style before. Actually, this is something that we discussed in class. So the real life application is incredible.
Yeah, and just to finish up as well, Koa, um, in terms of the adapting from on campus to online,
Mhm.
was that a big change for you? Was that
Yeah.
something that you would struggle with?
So I actually initially enrolled to do it in person and full time and realized actually I need to work. I have other life commitments. So I did transfer over to online part time. And it was definitely a change because you're going from having that in-person connection to almost doing it by yourself, it felt like. So that was a big adjustment. But I think as well, when you actually take the time to figure out what resources are available to you, the support that you have, it can be quite an easy transition. And as long as you're good at, prioritizing your time, looking at your timetable, thinking, okay, you know what, this week at work is really, really busy. Let me try and do some uni work on the weekend, or I'll wake up early, or do a bit in the evening. So that's incredible with the flexibility that you get. You don't have to worry about waiting for the time of your lecturer. You can just do it, 5 o'clock in the evening after you've clocked off work, you can just jump on and do some reading. So it is an adjustment, but once you've adjusted, I don't think I can really go back to it in person now because the flexibility you get is just incredible.
Yeah, and also it's that nice feeling of, and post graduation, people went during the pandemic years of
Yeah.
working in offices to home, so it's kind of the same kind of, kind of adaptation. So, Sinead, thank you for your time, and Co. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day today. It's been fantastic. If anyone does want a copy of this session or wants to watch this any further, everyone that's registered and viewing today will have a copy of this in their email inboxes. Sinead and the team in the background as well have continued to put links into the chat as well in terms of what the conversations have been about. And if you have missed anything, I urge you to head over to there, find out more information, whether it be that you're from the UK or whether you're from overseas. Please head over, communicate with the team. They're a great bunch, and I'm sure they'll be happy to hear from you. But for now, Sinead, Koa, thanks for your time. Take care. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Take care, everybody.